Hey everyone, I'm Ian McCarthy of Lifting for Life, and this is the third installment of my still kind of new Q&A series in which I take your questions and answer them on video in under 5 minutes. And tonight's question is, how do you be optimistic? How do you become optimistic if that's something you struggle with? I think it's important that we first start off with a good idea of what it means to be optimistic, what optimism is. I've thought about this a lot recently. By the way, this isn't a definition coming from a dictionary. I've kind of deliberately not looked at that so as to develop my own sense of it. I think we generally have this vague idea of optimism is you think good things are going to happen, and I think that's insufficient because you can believe something good is going to happen just on the basis of the evidence indicating that, and I would call that realism. Optimism is assuming something good is going to happen, or generally assuming good things will happen, believing good things will happen in the absence of evidence or without sufficiently good evidence. So that is the distinction between realism and optimism. And then the question becomes, okay, how do you do this if you default to realism? Or really, people I'm thinking of here are the folks who say they are realists, but they're unfailingly pessimistic and fail in life as a result of that. And what has struck me is that you need to, one way of doing this is my answer, is to say, literally say out loud what it is you want to happen and that it's within the realm of possibility, but that the evidence doesn't entail. Say that it will happen. Change the way you think about it from, wouldn't it be nice if, I wish this, but. Say, this is what is going to happen. And I imagine if you take any successful person who isn't successful on the basis of their father was a billionaire and gave them billions of dollars, but they started from nothing or tremendously less than what they ultimately have, I would bet my life that every single one of them at some point has said to themselves, alone, and to other people, this is what is going to happen. And that the evidence doesn't indicate that. You know, it's possible. It could happen. But they say, this is what is going to happen. And what's really interesting is, in a practical sense, it can not matter if, on a rational level, you know that you're just saying something. So you're saying, this is what's going to happen, but you've run this rational analysis, you're like, yeah, 30% chance it's going to happen. Because emotion drives behavior, not rationality. Rationality can and should inform behavior, but emotion is what drives it. Very briefly defend this. Let's imagine that you are asking you're asking yourself whether or not you should do something. You run your rational analysis and you say, I'm ethically obligated to do X. What if you don't care about ethics? What if you literally don't care? I'm ethically obligated to do that, but it's boring. I don't want to be bored. Are you going to do it? I would say you're going to ignore what you believe your ethical obligation to be because you don't care about it. And I really struggle to imagine a scenario in which emotionally you're committed to something or you don't care about something, but ultimately rationality totally overrides your emotion. On some level, your behavior follows rationality because your emotion has already said, okay, rationality is something I care about. So then the question becomes, okay, why even be optimistic? In a way, this is where the discussion starts. I think it's rational to be optimistic. It's rational to believe good things will happen without good evidence, because that increases the likelihood that you will do the things that will allow you to get there. So it isn't purely irrational. Like that bit of it, the optimism itself, is maybe irrational, but the general attitude of being optimistic is rational because it increases the likelihood of you doing the things which will allow you to accomplish the things that you want, which will ultimately, hopefully, make you happy, which is what matters. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ask questions below for the next video. Peace out.